ask yourself, why do we get sick? Could be the main and obvious causes due to food, lifestyle, and also the surrounding environment. But it is scientifically proven that many physical and mental health issues faced by individuals could actually come from the traumatic experiences that they have suffered before. Some examples are post-traumatic stress disorder, suffered by some people who have experienced extreme violence, danger, shock, or even grief before. These experiences can affect both their physical and mental health. But can the causes of health disorder be traced back to our past lives? We shall explore another modality of behavioral health through understanding the causes and origins, that is past life regression. So Dr. Selina Chew is a past life regression hypnotherapist with over 20 years of experience, and she will be introducing this interesting technique with us today. Her focus lies in guiding individuals through the process of healing and also understanding as they navigate personal challenges. Her sessions also support individuals on a path of self-discovery and overall well-being. And she has facilitated past life regression therapy sessions for people from diverse backgrounds, ages, and backgrounds, including the members of the Sangha. So now, I'd like to invite Dr. Selina to commence her sharing on past life regression, understanding causality for behavioral health. Welcome, Dr. Selina.
Good afternoon, Venerable Agachita and everyone else here in the room. Just before I dive into my presentation, may I have a show of hands? Who have heard about past life regression therapy before this? Wow, okay, like I think 40% have heard about it. Who is the first time you heard about it? Yeah, okay, oh, okay, about half or so. Some are new to this technique. I will share with you some of my cases of my clients afterwards. So just a little bit about my background. My first degree, my basic degree is in law. So I did my law degree at University of Malaysia. I don't practice because I found that law was not my cup of tea. But I used the cross-examining techniques in my sessions as well to find out more information regarding my client's condition. I'm a past life regression therapist. I have 3 different certifications in past life regression. I'm also a hypnotherapist, so the way that I bring my client back to the past life is through hypnosis. In my initial years, I also taught hypnosis for childbirth to teach the expectant mother how to give birth using the power of the mind without drugs. There is a different impact to the baby when the baby is born without drugs, as well as to the relationship between the mother and the child. I started in 2004, and now it's my 20th year of experience, and I've been doing like past life therapy sessions, one-to-one, as well as workshops. These are some of the nationalities of my clients. They are not necessarily Buddhist. In fact, many are not. They come from different countries. Some even fly to come and see me because sometimes they read about the experiences in my blog, so they were interested and they come and see me. Or some they are staying here and they come to my session. Past life regression, it was shown in the media. Actually, it's still a very new thing in Malaysia. And I'm very fortunate that it has been introduced in the magazines as well as in the newspapers, as well as on TV as well. So later on, I'll be showing you how a past life regression is like, which was shown on TV. Way back in 2007, I was invited by Bante Agachita to conduct a past life regression talk as well as a workshop in SBS. So actually, I was very surprised at the invitation, but Bante, he told me, I'm a truth seeker first, and then a Buddhist. He was open, and I conducted a workshop over there, a group workshop as well, and which was attended by, I think, about 2 or 3 monks and some postulants, and the rest were the lay people. Yeah, and some of them, they managed to see their past life in a group setting. With Venerable Agachita, actually, my husband and I go a long way back with him. In 2000, the year 2000, we actually were asked to write an article, so we had to interview him, and he just came out from Sarawak. and we interviewed him to write an article for Eastern Horizon about his mission in setting up the SBS Sanctuary, so that later on it was introduced to the public through the Eastern Horizon. Okay, then later on, it was also featured in The Star, and this was a cover story. I had a lot of calls after that. A lot of people were interested, and these were mostly from the general public. It was also, I regress, the editor of the magazine, and she related her story in the magazine. China Press, regress this a reporter from China Press, and she also shared about her experience. And later on, it was shown on NTV7. This is by the Paranormal Zone. Have you all heard about this before, the Paranormal Zone? Yeah? This topic was on reincarnation, life after death, and I will show you later an excerpt of the show. Let's have a show of hands. Have you ever experienced this? When you meet someone for the first time, you immediately feel comfortable. Let's have a show of hands. Who you meet someone for the first time? Okay, a lot of people here meet someone for the first time. You immediately feel comfortable with him or her. Sometimes you meet for the first time, you just totally dislike the person. Ever get that? Anyone? Yeah? You know why? I have had a workshop participant. He saw this during his workshop, and he said that actually in a past life, he saw the connection with this guy. It was from the other person killed him in a past life. Yeah, so he understands why now. He just totally disliked that person. You find irrational fear or phobia that can find no obvious cause. Some people, they have certain fear of fire, fear of water. Anyone? Fear of knives. Yeah? Some people, the fear of water is to the extent that they can't even, shower. They feel very uncomfortable. They cannot splash their face with water. So they can find the answers through the past lives. What about strong emotional bond towards someone? Anybody have that? Sometimes it could be a family member, yeah? It could be someone you meet and you just feel very strongly towards that person, or even a dog. I had one client, she had a very strong emotional bond towards her dog. And whenever she moved to a certain country and she worked in that country, she would bring the dog with her. And recently, the dog had cancer. And she was feeling very sad over the dog having cancer. And the dog didn't want to die. It was just still hanging on. Through the past life regression, she found out what was the connection. It turns out that the dog was a baby in the past life, but that baby was taken away at birth by some man. During that session, she was searching and searching for the baby, but she couldn't find the baby, and she died not being able to find the baby. This was a very ancient lifetime, but it still connects to the current life, and now she knows why she's very attached to the dog. Unexplained behaviors. Do you find certain people have certain unexplained or maybe dysfunctional behaviors? Yeah? Sometimes you cannot understand why. I have clients who they stockpile their food, hoarding of food. Certain things like getting angry and banging the head on the wall. Or you maybe have attraction to certain countries. Maybe you are staying in Malaysia, born in Malaysia. But you find you like another country, you feel more comfortable in another country. And ever get that? Yeah? Or maybe certain people, or certain interests or time periods. Some people, they are more attracted to the medieval lifetime or certain time periods. And how do you explain this? What is past life regression is going back into a previous lifetime through your subconscious mind. So it is different from psychic reading. Psychic reading is you go to see a psychic, and then the psychic will tell you. That means the psychic themselves see, but not you. Or it's also different from nadi leaf reading. For past life regression, you yourself will be able to see your own past life through your subconscious mind. It would appear as images, usually. How it is therapeutic. A lot of these past life issues, usually when we see the past life, we automatically release the blockages around the issue. It will automatically release and unblock the energy. I do a two-prong approach. I not only do see the past life, but as a hypnotherapist, I also do a healing session at the end after seeing it, because you can see the past life, then what? What happens when the person is traumatized there? Yeah? So I always bring the client to a healing place. So we do a healing session. It's mostly through hypnotherapy. And sometimes we do things like releasing, forgiving, accepting their previous life. And then we leave it back in the past. So it will not, carry forward to your current life. We leave the energy back in the past. Ajahn Brahm, he did mention about past life regression therapy. This was in the YouTube of Buddhist Society of Western Australia in 2009. So I just took out an excerpt to share with you what he said about past life regression therapy. He did mention about Dr. Brian Weiss. Have you all heard about Dr. Brian Weiss? Yeah, how many have heard of Dr. Brian Weiss? Okay. He talked about Dr. Brian Weiss, who is a psychiatrist turned past life therapist. And he has many interesting cases of his clients who have healed through past life therapy. Let's play this one.
I don't know, many of you may know that Dr. Brian Weiss, because people in Malaysia gave me a documentary. This is one of the guys who uses hypnotherapy to regress people into their past lives. And that's a fascinating part of past lives, because it's, again, so much information about that, whether it's true or not. And obviously I say it's true. When people get regressed through hypnotherapy into a past life, again, it solves so many of the problems which they have in this life. People with anxiety disorders, with depression, people who have got phobias like agoraphobia or claustrophobia. Sometimes you get back into the previous life and you get some experience. And it was the cause of this phobia which stops you experiencing freedom in this life. People who maybe have a hard time finding a partner in life. Why is that? Sometimes you go into a past life and you've had some very bad experiences before with that partner. Whether it's actually a true rebirth or not, it happens that people tend to get better as a result. And that's why it's a very powerful therapy.
Sometimes if you try to look at it logically, sometimes you cannot understand why and how they can heal. But just by seeing those images, you can actually, unlock the energy that is stuck, that is blocked, and then it will release, and then you can understand, and then you can move on from that stuck place. Past life regression will give you a better understanding about your origins of your fears and phobias, because sometimes your fears and phobias are not from the current life. It may have been from a past lifetime. It may have been an ancient life, sometimes back to the caveman days. Yeah, I've had clients who went back there. Obsession. Some people are obsessed over certain things. Why is it so? Or they keep ruminating or thinking the same thing over and over and over in their mind. Sometimes the current life, you cannot answer that. We go back to the past life to find out the information. Or intense emotions. Why a person is always very angry, intense anger. Or maybe you feel like sadness. You get triggered. Certain things will just trigger sadness. Like I had a client, if you use the word separation, she will get anxiety already. You just use the word. She had separation anxiety. And when you use the word separation, she will start to tear up. And it turns out it was from 2 lifetimes in the past. Compulsive behaviors. Why hand washing? I had a client who been hand washing for 50 years. After 50 years, only then she come to see me. So I managed to help her with that. You can find out your connection with your loved ones or family members. Roots of relationship, marital issues. A lot of clients come to me for that. Why am I having this marital problem? Or sometimes it's also extramarital relationship. I'm married to this person, but I'm also having a relationship outside. Or sometimes it could be a love-hate relationship. And they want to understand why. You can also find out the origins of your recurrent pain or ill health. I'm not saying that this will remove the thing, but it helps you to give a better understanding of the physical issue. Some people, they have recurrent nightmares or dreams. Have you ever had recurrent nightmares? Repeat the same thing? Anyone? Yeah? Okay. Some. It could be from a past life as well. You may also understand more regarding why you're interested in certain places, people, and culture. And you can even bring back the abilities and gifts from a previous life, bring it back to your current life. And to improve certain maybe languages or certain skills, you can bring it back. But provided that once you see the past life, then you also need to practice. It's not just like automatic, you have the information already or the skill. What I do is, I do hypnosis, which is a state of intense focus and deep relaxation. Have you ever been in hypnosis before? Anyone? Yeah? 1%, 2%, 3%? 4, 5. What if I were to say to you that all of you, 60% of your day, you are spent in hypnosis. In a hypnotic state. Yeah? For example, you are daydreaming, you know? When I'm speaking here, then you are thinking about something else, you are daydreaming. That is an altered state that we are in many times of the day. This also is a form of hypnosis. You're reading a book, you know, some people, they are so into the book that when you read the book, you are so engrossed, you cannot close the book and go and sleep. You must finish the book. Or sometimes when people call you, you don't respond because you're so into the story. Yeah? That is also hypnosis because you're in an altered state. Or you're watching a movie, or maybe it could be football, and then when someone talks to you, you don't respond. This is also a hypnosis. Another one is driving. Driving, when you drive on the highway, sometimes you drive automatically, or you took the wrong turn, which is what happened to us this morning. My husband, we were talking, so it was in a hypnotic state. You might say it's not mindful, but it's also in hypnotic state. So we took the way that we used to go every day to send our son to college. So accidentally, took the wrong route. Also at the workplace, yeah? Have you ever felt like you start to work, then before you know it, it's already lunchtime. You are so in the zone, so focused on your work, you suddenly not aware of time. This is also a hypnotic state. We are in this state many hours of the day. We just don't realize it. We go about this. This is the brainwave cycle. And beta is the time, is what you're in now, okay? Now you're in beta. You're fully alert, awake, conscious, you're asking questions, thinking. Alpha is one step below, when your brainwave slows down a little bit. And this is when you are relaxed, drowsy, half awake or half asleep. Like we are in this state in the morning when we wake up, in the alpha state, or at night before we sleep, yeah? We feel the brainwave slowing down. And then this is suitable for past life regression. I think alpha state is also the state where during meditation retreats, you are also in the alpha state, yeah? And theta is when we go for in-between lives. This is after the past life regression. We go for in-between lives regression. And then delta is a deep sleep state. This is already basically a deep sleep. We go through these stages every night and every morning. How past life regression is, how you see your past life is a multisensory experience. Like yesterday, we learned about the 5 senses. This is also similar. Yeah, you'll be seeing images. This image you see in your mind's eye. For example, if I were to ask you to close your eyes and think of a red apple. Can you see it in your mind? Yeah? Cannot? Okay, the brother say cannot. Okay. So usually, you can see it in the mind's eye, yeah? And how you will see your past life is in 3 different ways. The first way is as though you are in that body, in that lifetime. As though you are there, first person point of view. When I bring you back, I will ask things like, look around you, tell me what you see, what is the surroundings like. And some of them, they said that they can see like green grass, or maybe the sandy beach, and they can feel the sand underneath their feet, they are barefoot. Another way that you may see your past life is like you are watching a movie on the screen, you see the characters playing out, and you feel that one person there is you. But you don't feel that you are in, you just feel like watching. Or sometimes you may feel as though you're in, but you're invisible. Like you can move about there, but people don't notice you. That's also one way to see your past life. Another way that you may see your past life is like you are seeing photographs, images. So you see image and then disappear, image, disappear, image, disappear. So this is harder to get the story. Because for past life regression, what we want is to get the story. So the first 2 is like a movie. You're in the movie or you're watching a movie, so you can see the whole story. You can feel how the senses. Some people, they say that they can feel sad. Certain time in the past life, they can feel sad or they feel happy. They feel light. So everybody have a different experience. These images, right, that you see, right, you see in your mind's eye. And I always tell my clients, don't expect it to be like, HD quality, like very clear. Because sometimes they come in with high expectations. They have read a lot of books, and then they expect, I want my past life to be like that. For some people, they can see an image, or they can see a person, or they can sense a person there, but they don't see so detailed. Like they know it's a person but can't see the face. For some other people, they can see so clearly. They can see the person has blue eyes, blonde hair, fair skin. So it all is different with different people. You may recognize them as somebody you know in the current life. Automatically, you will know this person that you see in the past life is this person in the current life. It could be like automatically your gut feeling, or the image of the current life person will flash in your mind. So you know this person is this person. Yeah. Or it could be like something about the person is similar. Maybe the way they smile, the way they walk. Automatically you will know. You may feel hot or cold depending on the weather. In winter time, you might feel cold, you can feel warm on a hot sunny day. So my clients said they can feel this. Even because I like to bring my clients to go back and taste the food. Look at the food that they are eating and taste the food. And they can tell me how the food tastes like. Because I always like to do a research as well to explore how life is like during the medieval times and what type of food do they cook, how is the utensils there back in the olden days. And they tell me we use like slabs, or they use like coconut as a cup, what type of utensils they use. This is how I go about with past life regression, an example on how a past life regression is like. So this I regress the host of the Paranormal Zone. Her name is Lee Kim. Yeah, and you can see how a past life regression is conducted.
I have always been interested in past life regression. So I am really very excited this episode to have with me Dr. Selina Chew, who is a certified past life regression therapist, among other certifications and qualifications. Thank you very much for being here with us today on the Paranormal Zone.
Thank you, Lee Kim.
I see that from all your certifications and your speciality is very much into the management of mind, body, spirit, and things like that. Is your work connected to the principles of Buddhism?
On the aspect of reincarnation, that area. But the way I see it is more a holistic thing. It is more on spiritual and not so much of religious.
Now let's kind of talk more about past life regression. What exactly is the academic explanation to it? Is it linked to reincarnation?
Past life regression is the going back to see your past lives. Okay, through your subconscious mind. And the basis is that there is reincarnation. So most of my clients who come in, usually they have relationship issues, and some of them, they want to find out their gifts and abilities that they had in the past lives, and they want to bring him back to the current life. For the regression, you need to go with the flow and just let go, and then you'll be able to see the images.
Correct.
You will see images in your mind's eye.
I think right now we should do what I've been waiting for, which is the actual past life regression therapy. Okay, so now I am in the room with Dr. Selina. We're going to start the past life regression process. Is there anything else you would like to add?
Okay, the reason that people come to past life regression is mainly for healing. The main thing is the lessons that we take back. What are the lessons that we have learned so that we don't repeat it in this life?
Okay, cool.
Okay, so just don't close your eyes. Just stare at my fingers in a very dreamy way. You feel your eyelids getting heavier, drowsier, droopier and sleepier. And when you feel your eyelids getting very, very heavy, you can gently close your eyelids. Now just relax the muscles around your eyelids. I want you to test those eye muscles by trying to open those eyelids. Try to open those eyelids. And you find that they remain very relaxed. And you find yourself going even deeper into this wonderful state of relaxation. Now, I would like for you to imagine the most beautiful place in the world where there are no problems and no worries. Can you find a place like that?
Yeah,
Can you tell me about this place?
it's a nice house.
It's a nice house,
All glass.
all glass.
It's on a hill,
It's on a hill.
and then the hill overlooks the ocean.
Can you hear any sounds in this place?
The ocean.
The ocean sounds.
Yeah.
Which country is this?
France.
France. Just take a look at yourself. How do you look like?
Blonde.
Blonde?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you male or female?
Female.
Female. How old are you?
20.
20. Which is your bedroom? Go to your bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see in your bedroom?
Nice big bed and big nice windows, and then all my clothes, everything white color lah.
We shall move on to the next scene. So let's leave that scene now and move to an important day in that lifetime where something is happening. 3, 2, 1, move. What do you see, hear or feel?
Death.
What death?
A funeral.
Whose funeral is that?
My mom.
Your mom.
Yeah.
How do you feel watching this funeral?
Sad.
Very sad. Do you recognize her as anybody you know in your current life?
My mom.
Your current life mom?
Yeah. With black hair.
Black hair.
Yeah.
What did she die of?
Old age.
Old age.
Yeah. People go behind the curtain to see her.
Let's leave that scene now and move forward to another important event in that lifetime.
A bakery shop that I opened.
Okay, you open a bakery shop?
Yeah, it was the opening day. It's a small little tiny corner shop.
Is there a name to the shop?
Mademoiselle.
And people are coming?
Yeah. It's a lot of flowers, and then there's cakes, and bread. It's a cozy shop.
So you bake them yourself?
Yeah.
Let's leave that scene and move to the end of your life, to just a few minutes before you leave that lifetime. Where are you?
Lying in a bed,
Okay.
and there's a man beside me.
And who is this man?
Somebody I love.
What happened to you? Why are you lying on the bed?
Sick.
Sick? What kind of sickness?
Something to do with my stomach. I'm not well. Cancer.
How old are you? What's your age?
45.
45. So what's going through your mind as you lie down on the bed?
It's time to die.
Are you ready?
No. It's just painful in the stomach.
Just painful.
It feels like it's time to go.
Okay. Just allow your consciousness to leave that body, to leave that lifetime, and go to a place of love and light in between lives. A place where all knowledge and consciousness is connected. What do you see, hear, or feel?
Light.
Light?
White.
White light.
Yeah. Just a very nice feeling. It's all very peaceful. There are some doors. It's like a corridor. But everything is like white. And it's like we're walking towards the end of the corridor, towards a glass door. And I'm asking, where am I going? He goes, to a place where you'll be happy. I don't want to be having pain in my stomach anymore.
Coming back to original age, time, and date.
How funny. Oh my God.
Do you remember what you saw?
Yeah, everything was in white. The house was very nice. Somebody tells me I've been there before, I just can't figure it out.
Are you very close to your mother in the current life?
Yeah, and the same mother, same looking mother. It's just that the one in the past life had long hair. Yeah. And the feeling I had with that person that man that was by my side, I think when I was lying in bed before I died. That emotion with that man, I have a similar emotion in this life.
Yeah, so it could possibly be that person.
Yeah.
The skills and that you had in that lifetime was baking.
4 or 5 years ago, this life, I was baking quite profusely at home.
Okay.
I was. It was just a sudden thing that I wanted to bake. I mean, don't ask me why, but my family had to eat every cake I baked. It was a form of relaxation for me. So on that note, thank you very much.
Now you can understand how a past life regression is like. But if you come for a session, don't expect to see as clear as she. There are different people, different ability. Yeah, it all depends on the individual themselves also. Usually, people with higher expectations or the personality who is like very demanding, very impatient, right? These people is very hard to regress, very hard to see their past lives. Yeah. Sometimes I have clients who say, I want to see this. In the end, one also cannot, okay? Or sometimes they see or they experience, but they think that, oh, maybe it's not my past life, maybe I'm imagining it. It's quite usual to feel as though you are imagining it because it will feel like imagination. But then I ask another question. If you were to imagine it, will you imagine this story? You say no. So it's not imagination. And actually, it doesn't really matter whether it's imagination or not, because the main purpose that we do this is for healing, for understanding. Usually, people who come for past life regression is they want to know why are they having certain issues in their life, or how they can help, how to seek help, or they want to know like more of self-discovery. Because when you see your past life, right, you find that your current life problem is just a small bump in the road, and it's not a mountain. You may think like it's a mountain now because you are only looking at one perspective. But when you see your past life, you see a bigger perspective. So you also end up becoming wiser, a little bit wiser, because you can see a bigger perspective. Just to share some of the experiences of my clients. Like I mentioned just now, I had one who will stockpile her food. She will keep a lot of food in a cabinet and make sure that it's full to the brim. And she has 2 refrigerators, 2 fridges in her house, and she makes sure it's full. But she lives alone, so she cannot finish. So after the expiry date, she will end up throwing it away. And then she wonder why is it like that? Turns out, she went back to her past life. It was in a cold country in Siberia. She was a man in that lifetime, living with the wife, and they had children, as well as his mother staying there. And winter was coming, and they found that their food supply was low. This is many years ago, so it's more ancient life. He had to go out hunting to look for food. And because winter already approaching already, and he was caught. He said it was an arduous journey just to go and find food. Arduous journey, caught in a blizzard and died there. So when you die, the last thought in your mind, what was the last thought in his mind? I couldn't provide food for my family. Yeah? That's why in this life, she will stockpile all her food. Now that she has seen the past life, she understood why she has this strange behavior. Usually, once they see the past life, they will automatically release that past life already. Then it won't affect them anymore. And then this issue won't happen again. Another client, in fact, I have 2 clients, fear of standing on escalators. Anyone have this fear? Anyone have any fear of standing on escalators? Yeah, no one here. I had 2 clients. One, she would have dreams. She would wake up from nightmares of escalator or staircase. But she couldn't see what was it. She would just suddenly wake up. She would just see the escalator or the staircase and then wake up. It was also due to a past life where she was killed on an escalator. There was an accident and killed there. Another client also fear of standing on an escalator, but when she goes on an escalator, right, like in a shopping mall, if she goes on an escalator, she will feel like she's going to fall. No, she will have this jerking movement and she will feel like she's going to fall. So she's very afraid of using escalators. And when you go up on the escalator and then you walk along the corridor, right, and then at the side of the corridor, you can look down and see the ground floor below. She cannot do that. She cannot stand at the side and see the floor below. She has to go to the wall at the other end and brush her shoulder against the wall. Then and she has to walk that way, Then only can. She's like very terrified of this. So this was her experience. And it turns out it was a past life accident and death in the past life due to escalator. She also was afraid of going to the balcony and looking down. So 1 week after her regression session, she messaged me. She said that now I can go on the balcony already. And she showed me the photos of her plants and the view that she took from her balcony. Before that, she just couldn't. This is a case, also a very strange case. It's about my client in his late 20s. He, from his young time, in schooling days, primary 6 or so, he was very angry. He said he was very angry, very aggressive, and would be shouting and hitting and kicking. And he would whenever he's angry, right, he will punch the wall, or he will bang his head against the wall, or he will kick the wall. Oftentimes, he will injure himself as well. And he doesn't know why he's always getting triggered and doing these things. So he came to understand why. And it turns out he went back to in a Neolithic lifetime, New Stone Age, and he had a wife and a baby. And he saw the wife putting the baby to sleep. In the next scene, he saw there were attackers came and killed both of them. And he could just watch in horror. He couldn't even save them. And later on, he was killed by them as well. So this feeling of helplessness, not able to fight and save his family, his wife and his child, caused this feeling of desperation. So he felt very helpless. And then now he understood why, whenever he get angry, he will bang his head and against the wall and all, because it was a feeling of helplessness. He couldn't do anything to save his family, so he ended up also injuring himself also, just like, to punish himself. The next slide. This was a case of an Indian expatriate. He came to see me regarding his wife. He felt that the wife was being very unreasonable, very possessive and very jealous, very suspicious of him. In fact, there is a recent case also in the news. Have you seen it recently? There was this wife who was very suspicious about her husband, and she would ask him to take the lie detector test. Have you seen it? It's a recent story if you see in the media. So the kind of jealousy, the kind of suspicious nature, why is the wife having that? And then now when he told me that whenever she reads newspaper and it's about something negative, right? Maybe she read about something happened to this person or what, and then she would think, oh, maybe my husband is doing that with the other person or whatever. So she'll have very negative thinking about her husband, and he wanted to know why. The moment he regressed, he went to the past life. He saw a girl holding a picture of a man. And then it turns out that this girl was his daughter in that lifetime. The girl was crying. She was feeling very sad. It was the funeral of her father. Her father had died, and she was very attached to her father. So this girl was actually the current life wife now, In the past life, she was his daughter. She was feeling very sad at the funeral of her father. And then in the next scene, he said, I see her and she is pouring fuel on herself. She's killing herself, burning herself. The daughter died, and in the place, in the spirit realm or in between lives, he managed to see her and hug her. Now he understood why the wife was like that. So usually when we do this style therapy, it also changes the energy around the issue. Usually it will improve the relationship as well after the regression. This is a very strange case. Compulsive hand washing for 50 years. She started to see me a year ago. She came about every 2 months, and only in her 6th session we found the answer. In her earlier sessions, we go to different life. Okay, maybe I start with her background first. Why she was compulsively hand washing. She came to me at 60 years old, and when she was young, about 9 years old, she lived with her mother, and also she had an auntie. She used to play with auntie as a young girl. She used to play with auntie. And then one day, her auntie showed her a picture. I think it was a pornographic picture. And then she was shocked. But I forgot to inform you, her auntie is actually mentally disabled. A bit of disability mentally and a little bit of physical. Her auntie was only staying at home, couldn't go anywhere. The family members don't bring her out as well. And then after she saw that picture, she got shocked. And she felt like she needed to stay away from the auntie. She got triggered. Because the auntie stays in the house where her mother lived, anything that goes into the house or that touch the auntie or anybody who comes in, she felt that they are all contaminated. She is afraid of them. And sometimes she would just lock herself in the bathroom for hours and just hide inside there. She would also wash and wash and wash. She would wash her hands. Only 50 years later, after retiring, then she went and seek help. But during the time when she was washing, she was also suffering a lot because, when you wash hands so much, she said her thumbprint also disappeared, to that extent. And also affected her mental health as well and physical health. In one lifetime that she went, she was a worker or sort of like a slave working for an employer. But this was a very good employer. He takes care of the employees. And it was an olden day lifetime. So she was washing the dishes. She was more like a maid, washing the dishes at the river. And she was feeling very happy washing the dishes with 2 or 3 other people there as well. They're all doing the same job, washing dishes. And she was feeling very happy. So perhaps that feeling of relaxation that she had when washing hands, she felt it in this lifetime when washing hands. We also tried a few more sessions to find out why she's having this. And then in the last session, 1 week ago, we found out the cause. She went back to a lifetime when she was a little girl, 4 to 5 years old in China, was very poor, living in the backyard of somebody's house. She had no parents, her parents was not there, living with her grandparents. One day, some people brought her on a boat, sent to Japan. And in Japan, a lady took care of her. This lady she recognized as her auntie, her current life auntie that I mentioned. This lady took care of her, but this girl was very beautiful. This girl was very beautiful in that lifetime in Japan. That person who was taking care of her, when this girl grew up, right, this person go and sell her. She felt they were sold off to this place to entertain men. So she was locked up in this place where she had to entertain men day and night, and she lived in this place. So she felt that it was her auntie who did that. Whether it was karma, that her auntie is now disabled, I don't know what's the karma. It could be related, we have no idea. But, she got the answer from it now. Yeah, another client, fear of touching money. Anyone got that? Yeah? Nobody lah, we all want to touch more. Yeah? But this client, he found out his fear of touching money. He don't feel comfortable holding money. It turns out as a lifetime where he took a vow not to touch money. He was a kind of monk. Then he took a vow in that lifetime not to touch money. Certain vows or certain strong statements that we do in the past life can have an effect on this life, can have an effect. So be very careful when you do certain vows or certain strong statements. This is anxiety attack at the workplace. This is a client. He was very senior in his company, already senior level, but he always feels that when he's going to work, right, he's like in a battle as well, and also that he always have stress, anxiety. So he get anxiety attacks and he had to be on medication. So he was on medication for a number of years. It turns out that the past life was a Roman gladiator. So he could describe to me how it was like. He was a Roman gladiator and had to fight a lion and then had to fight other people, but unfortunately was killed in the end. So to him, it's like fight or flight thing, because he felt that it was like survival of the fittest. So even in the corporate boardroom, he also felt the same thing. So a lot of anxiety attacks. This is also a very interesting one. This was a Canadian client who came in because she had anxiety attacks, panic attacks, and revolving around food. She was very particular about her food, and if she missed the timing of her meals, she had to eat certain time. If she missed the timing, she would get faintness, dizziness, and feel like you want to pass out. She went back to a lifetime in the 1800s in USA as a plantation owner, and she was a man in that lifetime. So this man was very arrogant, and he had slaves on his farm. The slaves were black slaves. This guy was American, and he used to mistreat the slaves. So he doesn't even feed them. They had a small plot of land where they grew their own food, but usually wasn't enough, and he was very uncaring. So he used to mistreat them, and then sometimes the slave would pass out because not enough food he saw in the past life, passing out. And then he was nobody liked him in that lifetime but he got to where he was. You can read all of these cases in my Facebook page or in my blog. Yeah. On the next page, I have so many other stories to share as well. You can all read all this in my blog. After each session, we do a self-healing, and then we leave it back in the past, so it will not affect you negatively in the current life. Not advisable for people with schizophrenia or bipolar, people who are intellectual disability, people who have recent trauma, maybe they are somebody accident or pass away or something like that. It's not suitable to see. Or those who are resistant to therapy, or people who have cognitive decline. It's not critical to determine whether it's imagination or whatever. The most important part is the healing. I don't verify what my clients see. My clients themselves can verify themselves. But it's not important for me. Yeah, the important part is I see them improve and heal after the session. Thank you. So you can see my Facebook page there or my blog there. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Selina. Shall we open the floor now? Yeah, we have a sister there.
Hi, good afternoon, Dr. Selina. I'm Annie. Sounds very interesting. I would like to do the PLR, but I'm scared and I've got one question. Would it be if you take us back to our previous lives and there's a crisis, we are trapped there and we cannot come back? So it's rectified now. Has that happened before?
Okay, first thing is you won't be stuck in a past life. At any point of time, you see then they are not unconscious, they are not asleep, they are just very relaxed. It's like feeling like in meditation, you're very relaxed, just like you can see images in your mind. So if you need to stop halfway, use the washroom, you can, and we can continue. Yeah, and if you see any fear, right, if anything traumatic, usually what I'll do is I ask the person to move out from the body so you're not inside there. You're watching from a bird's eye point of view. Like you're watching the movie, you're not inside there. And if it's too traumatic, you won't be able to see. Your subconscious mind will block it. Yeah?
Okay.
So you can't even see it. You will see something and then nothing and then continue.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Shall we move on to the next question?
Dr. Selina, my brother has depression. Do you think it will help him?
This one I have to interview and speak to him first before that also. Because depression, different kind of levels as well. Must see what's the background, and they must be wanting to come here willingly and voluntarily. So they must know what it's about, what is...
I'll get your number afterwards.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, Dr. Selina.
Yeah, hi.
I'm one of the unfortunate few who can't visualize images, aphantasia. How do you treat people like that?
Usually it's unfortunate now, but yeah, it's hard to regress people who are not able to visualize. If I were to ask you to think about an orange, can you think? Cannot.
I'm 1% of the population. Aphantasia is a condition.
Oh.
We can't visualize.
Do you have dreams at night when you sleep?
Yeah, I do have dreams.
You have dreams.
Yeah.
That you can remember your dreams.
Not very well. I feel. I don't see, I feel.
Okay, you feel. You sense. Can you sense?
I can sense.
So for people who cannot see, I usually get them to sense. Yeah? Sense, so they can sense, I sense there is a person there, I sense there is a house there. It's more of senses. So usually they need to tap into their intuition. It's more of like, need to focus on your intuition, your gut feeling. Sometimes we are so logical, we've been trained to be like that already. It's hard to, tap into our intuitive mind. Yeah.
You have not treated clients like that with aphantasia?
Not with a specific name like that. But there are people. This one is very hard to regress. Might be harder to see images as well. Or to go back to your past life.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I think that also relates to another online question that we have received. how do we know that these images that the client see is that it's not actually delusional, it's not being made up, but it's really what they actually saw during the hypnotic session?
As I mentioned, what I do is for healing. I believe that our mind, you know why we can see images in our mind? It also helps with, creativity, we can see images. I believe there's a reason why we can see images in our mind. I don't think it's delusion, but a lot of people, especially a lot of Buddhists, because of their past conditionings, they are afraid. They're afraid it might be illusion, there might be delusion or whatever lah. Usually, the best is to just try out for yourself and experience it. And usually, they can feel the feelings, the sensations. If you are able to feel that, then usually it's not a past life. So it's not important to determine whether it's imagination or delusion or whatever. Yeah.
Just whatever that arises.
Yeah. Because I hold the space for them and just let them tell me. By the way, sometimes they don't go back to just the current life. On planet Earth, they don't go back to the past life on planet Earth. We go to different dimensions, different planets as well. So they can tell me, like, what is life there and how it is. They can tell me. Sometimes they see spaceship and they can tell me what is inside there. Yeah. So it's a very eye-opening thing that maybe a lot of people here have not heard before. Yeah. So we go into ET lifetimes as well.
Wow. Okay. Right, thank you. Can we have the brother to ask the question?
Yeah. This one is opposite of hypnotism. I have a friend is able to see our past life. So what is the comment?
What is my?
Can see our past life. I was asking him, my relationship and my other friend's relationship, he was able to see our past life. So what's the comment?
That is a gift that your friend has, ability that your friend has. Yeah? That one is different because that one is somebody else see. This past life regression is the client themselves see for themselves. See? It's different.
Right, thank you. We have a question from the online. In the cases that you have seen, or your previous clients, did any of the cases where during the session they saw enemies?
Enemies?
Yeah, in their past life, and then they become family member in this life. So if yes, how do they go about it and how does the healing take place?
Okay, just recently I met a client of mine. He went to see me 7 years ago. Then he said, you can share my testimony. He said, he initially was with a fiancée of his. The relationship was very bad now, and he wanted to know why. And then it turns out, in the past life, she was a queen, and he was a general working for the queen. And he was caught and imprisoned, and taken to prison, and he died there. The queen asked him to fight a battle. So he was later on caught and imprisoned now. But he was following the orders of the queen. And in this lifetime, she was also acting the same way. So sometimes you see certain dynamics play out or no. Sometimes in the past life, the person is like that. In this life, it's same. It's like that. Sometimes they have a slave-master relationship. Sometimes it's in the current life also you see similar relationship. Yeah. So then he understood. And he has moved on. He has left the fiancé and he understood why. And he's in happier now.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Dr. Selina, have you had any cases where they spoke to you in a different foreign language, like an old French or old English or Latin?
No. They speak to me in English, but sometimes in a past life, they speak a different language. I can guide them to understand what they are speaking and to translate to me. Automatic lah.
Multi-language also.
Dr. Selina, actually I mentored with this many years ago, past life hypnosis and therapy. There are few sessions. One of the sessions I went so deep that I start to speak in Japanese, and I could not remember what I said, but through the recording, according to the therapist, I was a Japanese and I was doing fishing, and I was like in a war, killed, and then I started to scream because of the pain, and I fainted while in hypnosis. It took a while for the therapist to bring me back, and after some counseling, I was told, don't meddle with this again because there's a possibility that you regress too back that you may not come back. So what do you say about that?
Oh, okay, so it's a different therapist that you went after that now.
I went for a few. It's the last one, I think the sixth one. I was told not to meddle with this again because I have this tendency to go too deep that it may be impossible for the guy to bring me back.
I think it's a skill of the therapist. Don't have to bring you back until you feel the pain, you know. You don't need to feel the pain. You can move out of the body, you don't need to feel the pain.
Okay, Brother Frank asked first, yeah.
I think I know my past life. Must be a cowboy because I like to dress like a cowboy. Right? Okay, but Dr. Selina, so far all the cases you mentioned, people were recalling their past life as a human. Anyone ever record their past life as an animal, as a ghost, you know, as a deva or something like that?
This is a very common question that I have. I have had, but very few cases. Very few cases, people remember their past life as animal. Like one client, she was a nurse and she was having shoulder pain. And then when she went back to the past life, right, she saw herself as an eagle, injured on the wing. Injured. That's one. Another one, he said, I look down, I see I have furry hands and furry paws. I see a tail. And he could feel himself jumping like a monkey. Another one, flying like a bird. Interestingly, I have about, I think 2 or 3 clients who saw themselves as naga, dragon. We talk about dragon, we think it's very mystical, right? They saw. One could even see himself, and another one, they saw nagas. That was what they saw in the past life themselves. But I have clients who went back to the dinosaur time, when they saw pterodactyl, woolly mammoth, the kind. But very rare, very rare. Another saw himself as a yeti, you know, the abominable snowman? Yeah. He said, I feel very strong. And then he eating the raw food. I mean, yeah.
Hello, testing. So just want to ask a short question. So can we go back to the past life, like to pay a visit to the Buddha?
Pay a visit
and
to
maybe
the
listen
Buddha.
to his Dharma talk or something like that?
I have not had a client who did that, but I had a client who was not a Buddhist, and he went back to Jesus' lifetime. He saw Jesus at the cross being crucified, and he also saw before that he was carrying the cross, pulling it along the dusty road, and a lot of people there. And then he could feel, like when he was staring at Jesus hanging on the crucifix, that he could feel that Jesus, the soul or the energy came out and was like, have so much compassion and looking at him. But the interesting thing, because this guy was a medical doctor, and he said, I have had hyperhidrosis, sweaty palms for the past 40 years. And after that, it disappeared. He didn't came for that, for other things. But, as a byproduct of, seeing his past life, his sweaty palms disappeared.
Oh, that's very interesting. Okay, any more final question for this session?
Dr. Selina, I am actually very curious. If let's say you don't really have a problem, but you're curious, because I've read the book Many Lives, Many Masters, and I think you mentioned the author, right? So if we just go for a therapy just because we are curious, will that be harmful to us? Like, can we discover anything that will? Because if no problem, then suddenly you got a problem. Would that happen?
No, in fact, I do regress people who just want to know more about themselves. It's more of a self-discovery thing. Yeah, that one can be done.
And maybe you get something byproduct out of it.
Usually, you have more deeper perspective on the meaning of life, more wisdom.
All right, okay. Thank you very much. Please give a round of applause to Dr. Selina for your very interesting sharing on past life regression.